The international community has carried out aid activities for decades, but certain persisting humanitarian crises and cases of underdevelopment warrant a serious re-examination. History has witnessed numerous aid projects that ended up with unsatisfactory outcomes, and these outcomes are described by several concepts such as dead aid, counterproductive aid, or aid dependence.
Do you think Afghanistan is one of those failures?
Yes, indeed. Despite a huge amount of Western majority aid, foreign aid, and we're talking about billions of dollars here, the people of Afghanistan have lingered in a deplorable state for years with regard to their basic needs for development. And one basic problem behind this is the lack of aid effectiveness. Most of the aid was spent for relief, military and services needed by international officials. In other words, only a small amount of the aid in question was used for purposes of development such as infrastructure, production, schools and hospitals. Furthermore, within this process in Afghanistan, the state got dependent on foreign aid and did not fix the fragile structure of its economy. And we can describe this situation as a vicious cycle. On the other hand, we also witnessed some positive and inspiring practices, stories. Turkey, among a few other countries like Sweden, Luxembourg and Norway, sets a very good example here. Turkey has not only been active in the provision of humanitarian aid, but also of development assistance. In recent years, the country achieved record-breaking levels in the OECD group by mobilizing over 1% of its gross national income towards official development assistance. And given that a vast majority of high-income countries have not reached this threshold, this 0.7% threshold. One other thing that differentiates Turkey from the general outlook is about the design and delivery of foreign aid. The key point here is that cooperation activities should give precedence to the recipient's needs and benefits, while also favoring untied and humanitarian conditions. And Turkey's model considers these ideal requirements in designing foreign aid, particularly in terms of genuineness, desired outcomes, and speed. Over 80% of the aid, the Turkish aid to Africa, goes to the sub-Saharan region. In other words, Turkey's main focus in the continent is helping the least developed countries. And as you just mentioned, a prominent aspect of the Turkish cooperation in Africa is combining humanitarian and development assistance within a holistic perspective wherever needed. And I think this is particularly important for the self-sufficiency of the recipient countries in the long run. So the effectiveness of foreign assistance highly matters, and what I argue in my book is that the international community should reshape the development cooperation architecture by learning lessons from failed cases as well as inspiring practices.